this computer. Hi, everybody. So those of you that were on before I start the recording, isn't it funny when I start the recording and I say hi all over again? And even though we've already been talking for like 40 minutes, but welcome to all of you and to anybody that's tuning into the recording. We actually put a plea out there and we're going into next week. We want more of you on with us live if possible. Especially we're excited for tonight. Your leaders and I have been chatting about sponsoring, team building, and growing our businesses. And we're excited with the things that we have to share tonight. We are going to dive right into it. So there are some announcements on your workstation that you can see yourself. Go into news and you can find all of the latest announcements there. The other thing, news, the announcements. Oh, I forget I had it and I lost it. All right, so we are going to talk tonight about sponsoring, and what I'm really excited about, actually, before I start, I want to tell you two things before we get into it. First is I started a new series that's on our YouTube channel. I hope that you know we have a YouTube channel. It is togetherwescent.com/YouTube. That is where all of these recordings are housed. That is where all of the Thursday night shift recordings are housed. On Tuesday nights, this is more for those that might be tuning in for the recording. On Tuesday nights, this is our group call. This is exclusive to our group. It's an intimate setting where we talk, we have some training, we have conversation, we have chat, you can have questions answered. That's what happens on Tuesday. On Thursdays, it's kind of a bonus training. The topic is always different from whatever we talk about on Tuesday. And it's a panel of superstar directors. You never know what you're going to get. There's always some kind of nugget to walk away with from that particular training. And both of these recordings, tonight and Thursday, they are housed on our YouTube channel, togetherwescent.com/YouTube. You can, oh, look who is knocking on the door. Her ears must have been ringing. Her ears must have been ringing. Cindy, you just knocked on the door and your ears must have, she probably, she's connecting. But anyway, so we have that YouTube channel that is for your use, your reference. You can use that to share videos and send them to your team. If a team member sends you a question and says, hey, I want to know more about sponsoring, I want to know more about growing my team, you can send them the link from our YouTube channel from a sponsoring or recruiting. There's multiple videos that are housed there. You can send those links. You can send that. YouTube channel is for your use, and it houses all of our past topics that we've talked about. In addition, I started a new series on our YouTube channel called the Inspired Women Inspire Women series. And I've been interviewing different women, not so much talking about Scentsy, of course, a little bit, but more so talking about personal development and personal growth. And it's just been, I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the conversations that I've had with the people that I've interviewed. That is housed there as well. So if you sit on your Peloton and you put your AirPods in and you just want to listen to something that might be inspirational, that is available on our YouTube channel as well. That was the one thing. And the second thing is, before we dive into sponsoring, I want you to go around, those of you that were on just right before we started the call, I want you to just shout out the exciting things that you told me right before we started this recording about what's happening with you and your business and sponsoring and flipping and launching, and no stories, just yell it out on, you just had somebody join, because I want that excitement to start us off with our talk about sponsoring. So go, somebody, and we'll end with Ginger.
All right, I had 2 people join my team and have 5 parties going on.
Good job.
I'm flipping one girl tomorrow and had my bingo party tonight.
Great job, Mary Jean.
I just
have
had a new
4
person
parties.
join and make their first sale.
Yes. And wait, you had something else.
Oh, and one of my party hosts is going to probably join. I have 4 parties going, so maybe I'll get 4 new people to join because it's so much fun.
Awesome. Great job, Jess. Cassie?
I had a new recruit join tonight, Amanda, and she's on tonight with her little one. And I also have 5 Facebook parties going on. So hopefully those will go well this month.
Oh, and Amanda, I'm sorry I didn't welcome you before this. Amanda, welcome. We are so excited that you're here. All right, who else? What else? Okay,
Cammie
Well-
just hopped on. She's got somebody who's going to be reinstating under her.
awesome. You just had somebody reinstate under you.
Yes.
Very cool. Okay, exciting things. Debbie?
I have 3 Facebook parties going on. I have another person that's probably going to join this week. And I just got my son's middle school to do a vendor show in December.
Nice. Way to make things happen.
Thanks.
That's awesome. All with working as a teacher full-time, and you have a flooded basement and 2 little kids, and you are a single mom. So
It drives me
anybody
crazy
that
when
wants,
people- oh, sorry.
what? No,
It
go.
drives me crazy when people say they're too busy to sell Scentsy.
Yeah. So yeah, that right there, it doesn't really hold a candle when you take yeah, and you're on this call. You're on this call. So kudos to you, and I appreciate you. Okay,
Yeah.
so Debbie and anybody, people make time for what they want to make time for. That's true. Anybody want to say anything before I point at Ginger, who has 19 parties going, and 3 of them are launch parties. So tell us, Ginger, about how do you book 19 parties, and then how do you convert 3 of them to launch?
Well, some of them were from last month that carried over until now. And then when I had put on all my other parties and on my VIP group that, I wanted to have hosts for October, everybody just came out of the woodwork. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Plus I did 2 vendor events back to back, which is like, that is a lot of work. I mean, that's a lot of work. I did really, really well at both of them. I got 2 of my cousins. They both approached me. They're from different parts of the family. One of them lives in New York, and they both wanted to start. So I've got both of them going on a launch party. Then I was just doing another lady's that I had just did a fundraiser for. Her son had committed suicide, so she does a suicide prevention type fundraiser thing throughout the whole year. So I had just did a fundraiser for her, and somebody from her party approached me and said, what does it take to start to start selling? And I'm like, oh yes, come on.
That is awesome. So when you posted on your VIP page, tell us what was the wording? You just basically said, I'm looking for October hosts.
I am looking for October hosts. We've got the Halloween and Christmas launch. This is like the best time right now to have a party. I did not expect that many people to come flying at me because, and it kind of is a little overwhelming because the other parties I'm trying to close out, and these ones I'm trying to get going. And there's a couple of them that nobody's, the Facebook parties are rough. Some of them can be really rough, to get people to interact, and it's hard to keep their mind on it. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about it, because I have my hostesses. I don't have them tag them because I don't want to embarrass anybody, because if somebody doesn't have money or something, you don't want to embarrass them,
Mhm.
But I have my hostess private message them. I'll even do it if I've talked to some of them or something like that in the past. I'll private message them and just ask them, Were you still interested? It's okay if you're not. I always say it's okay if you're not, because we don't know people's money situations and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this month's been absolutely nuts. It's been very crazy.
Well, you had over $7,000 in sales last month, and you have 19 parties going now and 3 launches and promoted to director and are about to earn level 2 of the incentive trip. And we are all asking the question, where has Ginger been in our life on our Zooms? So now we're not going to let her miss. And, but I appreciate you sharing and appreciate you. So thank you. So tonight we are talking about, what'd you say, Ginger?
+2, I had Jody and I do a buddy drive for the autistic school that her son goes to. And last year I used to waitress my whole life. So one of my customers last year had donated $2,000 towards the Biddy Buddies for me. And then this year, when I told him we were doing the full size buddies, he donated $3,000. So I bought $3,000 worth of buddies. That's what pushed me over the edge to get.
That is amazing. That's amazing. You know what? Connections.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Awesome. So, okay, we're talking about sponsoring. We're talking about growing our teams. It's happening. Our teams are growing. People are joining. We are flipping people. We are sharing the idea of somebody starting their own business. Maybe we're saying it in those words. Maybe we're not saying it in those words, but I think that the incentive trip does what the incentive trip is intended to do, or the incentive period, in that it holds our feet to the fire a little bit. I know it's doing that for me. I know that I fell short with the last incentive for sponsoring points, and that I vowed to myself that I won't let that happen again. And so the incentive period is putting the pressure on me to do things and step outside of my own comfort zone, because even after 13 years, I still have a comfort zone. Sometimes it's bigger than I even want to admit. But I had a customer of mine approach me and said, I have an order for you, but the hostess gave it all to me and I'm just going to take care of it through you. And so she emails me and I put in the order, and the order is a 1,087. Okay. So I said, you're going to join, because, and she was like, no, I'm really not. And I didn't say you're going to join. I said, we are going to flip. This can be your first party. Right. Cause I'm like, there is no way I'm letting $1,000 party with bonus points in October for the incentive trip get turned in without flipping this to somebody. And she wouldn't take it. So I asked her who the person was that spent the most in this party. And that person was actually not interested and had been a consultant before. So I've got a hostess with $1,000 party, and the top purchaser used to be a consultant. Like, I am like batting zero here. And so, but I still was like, I can't turn this party in without flipping it to somebody. And so I called my sister-in-law and I said, listen, you buy from me 4 times a year. I have the opportunity to get you a kit, your own set of testers, and your own ability to place your own orders and get a discount. And all I have to do is flip this party to you and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, I'm actually really excited to get my own set of testers. Now I've done this 13 years. I've never asked her because my family just buys from me. I've really not tapped into my family. However, in a situation like this today, I was like, well, I have a feeling that she will be somebody that I can say, yeah, you're going to do this. And so we did, and we flipped it to her. And the whole point I'm telling you this is that if it wasn't in the incentive period and I wasn't holding my own feet to the fire to take advantage of bonus points that Scentsy's offering us in October, and the fact that I am earning this trip and I need sponsoring points, it's causing me to step outside of my comfort zone. I'm thinking of people that I have strayed from asking And I'm like, what do I have to lose? Nothing. What do I have to lose besides nothing? And so I actually have a list of people that I'm like, I'm ready. I am ready. Sales are not an issue. Sales are not an issue. Having parties is not an issue for me, but getting people and offering them the opportunity is my issue. I am my biggest public enemy number one when it comes to flipping people or getting them to start placing their own orders, because we know that it may start as them placing their own orders and it may never go anywhere else, or they start placing their own orders and they realize maybe they don't want to build a huge business, but they enjoy it. It's a good outlet. Or they realize they actually do have people around them that buy and use Scentsy. So they have a little bit of a customer base. You just never know. I said this earlier, I'll say it again. Many of us didn't set out to build these businesses like we are. I never intended to stay in Scentsy longer than 6 months. So you never know. And a lot of times the people that join don't know, because we didn't, but something clicks, something happens. So we actually are being completely selfish if we aren't at least giving people the opportunity to determine if this is something that they want to do or not. And we all like doing things at a discount. We all search for coupon codes before we place an order, don't we? We do. Before I place any order on any site, I will check to see if Retail Me Not or Coupon Cabin has any discount codes out there, or if I can sign up for an email to get 10% off or something. So realistically, that is the opportunity we have to offer somebody. We need to do it more often. So a couple things. Number one, thinking outside of the box, or thinking that, and we talk about thinking outside of the box, and we talk about doing these things, but are we actually doing them? Are we actually doing them? And it's the commitment to ourselves and the accountability of actually doing them. And finding what is holding us back. Why do we hold ourselves back from the greatness? Why do we hold ourselves back and keep ourselves inside of this little cocoon comfort zone when we know that the magic happens outside of our comfort zone?
Yeah.
So let me tell you a couple tools and a couple things. And there's something that I'm going to show you. So stay on to the end of the call. There's something that I'm going to show you that you will be able to use if you would like to. But before that, here's a little tip that I want you to start trying and see if it makes a bit of a difference. Instead of texting, so here's a message that I texted to someone. She has placed 2 orders with me in the last 2 months. Both have been over $100. So I sent her a message. And she hasn't seen it yet, because though I friended her on Facebook, she hasn't accepted that yet. And so this message to her has gone into her other box. So it tells me she hasn't read it yet. So I said, thank you again for your Scentsy order. Have you ever thought about joining Scentsy? With what you've spent already, you may as well enter the orders for yourself and get the commission. I have a consultant kit I can offer you at a reduced cost with a party order that I'm closing. I'd like to offer it to you. So I sent her that on Sunday, and then I got to thinking 2 things. Number one, I don't like the way I worded that at all. So I'm kind of glad she didn't see it yet. Number 2, there's a way I can say this better and actually say it. So I'm going to go back into her order, and I'm going to get her phone number off of her order, and I'm going to text her. But instead of texting, I'm going to send a voice message to her text. So what I want us to try is, in sending messages messages like this, where we are wanting to maybe flip somebody or get them to join, or calling out hey, you have spent $200 with me. This is what I'm going to say in my voice message. You've spent $200, over $200 with me in the last 2 months. And I have an opportunity for you to place your own orders and get a discount. And I would love to tell you about it. That's what I'm going to say to her. And she's going to be able to hear my voice, and she's going to be able to hear my excitement, and she's going to be able to kind of create more of a personal connection because I'm a human. This wasn't just a copy and paste. And so I'm challenging all of us to voice message. You can voice message your thank you for my order. Voice message and say, I really appreciate, or any message that you are sending to your customers or to your potential hostesses or to somebody that you want to connect with. Try sending a voice message via text or via private message. Cool. Let's give that a whirl. And listen, a lot of us are like, well, I don't want to talk because I'm going to fumble over my words. Write out what you want to say and read it. But you still have a way of reading something with a little inflection in your voice and a little bit of passion and a little bit of enthusiasm that is a heck of a lot better than words that are very easy to overlook. People stop on videos and people are going to be very intrigued to listen to what you have to say. Instead of seeing the words and seeing joining, Scentsy, and commission and consultant and being like, I'm not even reading that, nor responding because I'm not even. So it took me doing what I always do to realize I don't like what I always do and I want to tweak it. And so I challenge you to do the same. Just try, give it a try. Okay, guys, what were some of the other things that I wanted to say or show? I know the 2 graphics I want to show, and I'll do that at the end, but what else did we want to say about this?
Oh wait, the drive-through party, or is that one of the graphics?
I'll show that at the end. What else? Here's another thing. I'll give you a perspective that I got from another Superstar director today, Heather Gorsuch, many of you are familiar with. An interesting perspective. She said, I've got some vendor events coming up that I haven't done before. And I'm really going to focus on sponsoring at these events because I realize that a lot of the people that I'm touching at events are buying from me once and I never see them again. And I want to try to hold on to some of those people a little bit longer. So the biggest thing with the events that you may have coming up is making sure that anybody that makes a purchase from you or places an order that you really truly, especially makes a cash and carry order or purchase, that you get their contact information so that you can follow up with them. But also, what do you have to lose to have any kind of conversation with anybody in your space that tells you they love Scentsy or they use the product or they're buying from you? What do you have to lose having that conversation, having any kind of conversation with them? You love Scentsy so much. Have you ever given any thought to placing your own orders and getting a discount? Because remember, that doesn't off-put people as fast as joining or join my team, because people instantly like kind of throw up a wall like, no, I'm not doing that. But like I said earlier, but people are always on the hunt for a discount. And especially a discount on things they're already buying. And like I said before, I want you to keep thinking this. Many of us, most of us, when we signed up, we didn't expect to do much with it anyways. So how are we any different than any of them? We aren't. What happened though is after we signed up, after we placed our own orders, after we connected with some other people, we realized we wanted to stay here. That's a lot of people's story. So even if we're getting people in the door by offering them the discount, who knows what could happen? Who knows? So I'm challenging you many things. I'm challenging you to use your voice to talk to people because we aren't in front of people's faces as much as we used to be. So I'm challenging you to talk to people, let people hear your voice. I'm challenging you to make good contacts and to be able to follow up with people, but to also offer people to do what you do in however you are comfortable doing that. Because most of these people you won't see or hear from again. So what's the difference? Then I'm also going to challenge you this coming week to sponsor one person. Because why not? Because why not? I'm challenging you to bring somebody with you to this Zoom next Tuesday. All of these things, all of these challenges are things that if you actually do them, they're bettering you. I'm speaking to myself too. I need to grow my team. I need to step outside of my comfort zone that I very easily curl up into. So I have to push myself. And here's the thing, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not doing. I completely lead from the front. And I will be the first to admit when I don't feel like I am. So I need to do, and I'm challenging myself, and I'm not going to use the one sponsored consultant that sponsored sister-in-law that I already have. I'm going to challenge myself with you to sponsor one new person in the next 7 days. Because why not? And because you can use the example. We are all always looking for a discount on things we are already buying.
Mhm.
This is no different than that. We have avenues to pursue with so many aspects of our business. We've got a Scentsy club that is perfect for some of our people. We have a discount opportunity for some of our people. We have a hosting opportunity for some of our people. But what we have to be better at is knowing what to offer who. And you can always offer and start with the discount route first. And if they don't want to do that, then you can back down and you can offer the opportunity to at least get some free and half price products. And if they don't want that, you have the offer of them just purchasing from you. So you know how Scentsy's motto is buy, host, join? Jen Audette has always, from the beginning, treated that in reverse. It really should be join, host, buy. Because if they don't want to join, maybe they'll host. And if they don't want to host, then they'll probably buy. So we need to lead with the sponsoring. Lead with the opportunity. If nothing else, you guys, because sponsoring can seem scary and recruiting can seem scary and being a sponsor can be scary. So if we set out on this path of we are legitimately just trying to save people money and hope they capture a vision afterwards, let's do that. Let's do that. Because if you're going to save me money on something I'm already purchasing, I'm in. And if it's not taking a ton of skin in the game for me to get that opportunity, but for crying out loud, I mean, we've all done silly things. I have bought I actually paid for a card that will give me a future discount. How's that any different? I bought a card for like $60 to a restaurant so that I can get $20 off every time I go there. You guys, this is no different than that. And if we make it not scary like that, because realistically, what we have come to find is we just need people to come in and see. Because how many times I've had this recently with a new consultant of mine that joined. She was only joining to buy for herself because she's obsessed with Disney. But then I get a text that she was fiddling around in the workstation and she came across a video and she came across some marketing images of products she didn't know was coming. all of a sudden our customers have access to a database of excitement. Well, we have to just at least get them in. They need to log in and be hit by something exciting. We don't care what they do with it afterwards. We want them in to see if they discover what we know exists. You know, we've talked a lot in the past, and Tammy and I especially have talked about this, like maybe sometimes we scare people off because we give them way too much information. Maybe we do. And maybe we do need to shut our mouths and just get them to see the savings and let everything else fall into place from there. The only thing they need to know, because realistically, anybody that comes in doesn't need to know every aspect of running this business. They only need to know how to log in. And if they need help placing their very first order, then reach out to me. Let me walk you through it. Let me show you the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. That's the only thing you need to know right now. Because late at night, when curiosity kills them because they can't sleep and they log into the workstation, and all of a sudden there's an award tracker that's on that front page and a first things first to-do list. I don't know. Curiosity has killed me with a lot less. So what I wanted to do tonight is actually just make this conversation light and airy for myself and for you. Making it way more fun, making it seem way less of a threat, right? And I hope that you feel that. I hope that you feel that in me working to convince myself that it's really not that deep. Get over yourself. It's really not that deep. That's me saying that to me. And that's what I've been saying. That's been my self-talk. Like literally get over yourself. You love doing what you do for a reason. Why the hell would you think somebody else doesn't want to do it? So here's what I want to show you. Does anybody else want to pop in with anything? And any of my leaders, anybody want to say anything? Tammy, are you looking for your unmute button? Anyone? Listen, hopefully, if nothing else, I mean, I could talk about the most boring stuff in the world and maybe you leave here excited about it. Maybe. Okay, nobody's going to say anything. So stay on, okay? Stay on. I thank you, though, for getting on. I'm going to stop the recording. And here's one of the benefits of getting on Zoom Live. I have something to show you that I am not including in the recording, okay? So tune in next week live for those of you that are watching the recording. And for all of you that are here, I'm going to show you something.